I told y'all what type of time I was on.
Okay.
But for the sake of our listeners, I'm gonna say we probably shouldn't start there, or should we? How y'all feel?
Hey, start. Let's do it.
Damn, man. Why do I feel like I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing something before we get to the shit. Like we checked in. We sure we good? Everybody good? We not?
We ready.
We ready?
Me and L, we sitting here with the Birdman,
The Birdman
hand.
hands.
Hey, ready to go.
I mean,
I'm trying to tell you right now, this nigga L, he been ready to pot.
no, yeah. He got
This nigga was shadow boxing and everything.
Nigga got something for him. We back. Nah, the world is sick. We know that, but we got some real fuckery taking place. I don't know why it feels disgusting to start there.
Might as well.
I know you already right there.
Right, see,
There it is.
pop culture is pop culture, right? Fame is, I think we're getting a better understanding, a better grasp on the commodity of fame and what in what high regard people hold fame. And so we're trying to talk news, try to be informative. And astronomical things are happening in the realms of politics and American politics at that. And it's like you want to cover it, you want to have conversations about it, but it's so polarizing, and there's so many emotions wrapped up in it, and it never feels like it never feels like you're able to make progress of any kind when you talk politics. So we have a show responsibility, and I feel like we do a really good job of keeping a balance, and we took a week off, and I want to come in here and talk about politics, but the shit is way more entertaining. Like the shit with fame and all of that is just way more entertaining. But silly me to go that there's a lesson in it somewhere, somehow, some way, right?
I feel like we're at a crossroads.
Okay, thank you, because it doesn't feel right to just go Tory and Meg. What? Who gives a shit?
Nah, I think we're all at a crossroads, man.
Okay.
I think we have a opportunity right now for everyone to decide on which route you want to take, and I think the overwhelming majority is going to stay in place and do what is told. So I think that you can either be real or you could be a part of this fake shit. And I think people are they're starting to muddy that water so much that the fake shit is now just becoming the quota.
The fake shit is becoming the quota.
And it's a weird space to be at, because you would have to be completely tapped in order to know that it's okay to just be fake. You know what I mean? You'd have to give in to that force. And I think that's what's happening. Is people don't know it, but they've basically signed their waivers to be fake and make it okay. And then get at people that are trying to still keep some level of real in. Because if you're trying to be real in today's age, then you an outcast, and that shit you ain't gonna be a part of none of the
What that you bring up a good point, G. But I guess for the sake of the discussion, can we make just a base level explanation? The reason I'm interested in this is because I was fortunate enough to have some real. Do you believe in closure?
Mm-hmm.
Lex, do you believe in closure? The concept of closure?
Yeah.
It actually depends, though. You got to be ready for closure.
Okay, that's so.
Both parties will have to be ready for the closure.
I went from
you can't just be the person trying to close shit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
nah, it's bad.
So I got a real lesson in that, which exactly what you just said, G. I went from, I need closure to, fuck, I don't believe in that closure shit, to, you just got to be ready, and not only do you have to be ready, you have to be empathetic enough to make sure that the other person is in the space to even entertain that shit, because it's not. especially if whatever the fallout was centered around some selfishness or something, then you can't then double down on said selfishness and go, well, I need closure. Like, that's crazy. But
It's rare that both parties are on the same page on that.
and
It's very rare.
very rare. But you should, if you arrive there, you gotta respect. I think part of the process of the actual maturation is going, hey, this person isn't ready for the conversation. I'm giving them their space and remain open. Because it's the second you personalize, oh, they don't want to talk to me, then you back to your selfish way. So how much have you matured? Then really, and so I got a really interesting lesson in that this past week. That was healthy, but it did allow me to receive said closure we're talking about through the lens of a dynamic conversation. Had uncomfortable truths in it. It had some real time processing, which is interesting because there's just processing in real time, and then there's like the space in like few days and weeks and months and even years to process what's being said or how you feel and shit like that. What was my point? Damn, I had a larger point. But explanations and definitions. So in the process of that, though, when you in the closure process, I realized that even though that we have dictionaries and we think we have an understanding of what words mean.
Not everybody sees it the same way.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I mean, in dictionaries they have 3 different explanations for each word.
For a reason.
Yeah, for a reason. Like,
oh man! And I literally just learned that shit on Friday. I thought we got a basic level of understanding of what this word means. If I use it, oh, bet we good. You add that into trying to communicate via text and remove the context and the dialect and all that other shit. Good luck on having a understanding or a closure or coming to an agreement. No, fam, call me or pull up on me. I need to see you eye to eye, because assuming we share the same definition of a particular word, no longer can bank on that. And so all that to say, can we establish on the show this episode a definition of real, so we can always reference back to that. When you said people are like opting out of that whole concept. Like, if you opt in to be real, you're in the minority because ain't nobody being real. When you say real, what does that mean?
For me personally, it always goes back to accountability and holding yourself to a certain standard. And that standard can be whatever you want to set it as. But
hold on, my bad. Yeah. DJ Tory, you are on the podcast, my brother. Say something to the people.
What's up, people? You know what I'm saying? DJ Tory, live and direct, hieroglyphics all day, every day, 101% music. Grand Nationals is, you know what I'm saying, the movement.
My man, bro. What's up? You need anything? Everybody's set to be there at 1. You need anything important between now and then?
Man, I was just tapping in, just seeing what was good, man.
My G, yeah, everybody's set to be there. Can you send me the address so I can forward it to like Kate and people like that never been there?
Oh, G.
My G,
I got you.
Appreciate you, bro. I'll see you soon.
All right, salute.
Can I stop right there and just, like, niggas like that don't be knowing what that type of shit mean. Like, I'd be talking to Tory and he'd be talking to me like explaining his story to me. I'm like, nigga, been a fan of y'all for fucking my whole life, really, you know. Cam does that same shit where he's like trying to like, in 2007 I did this. It's like, nigga, I know I had a fucking album. What are you talking about? You know, so I had to stop. The homie Travis called me. He's like, Monty, you do know that everything you talked about in college and what you wanted to do, you're amongst those people. It was always a real specific, I want to do it at home with the people who I deem legends, who may not have had like mainstream success, but are successful. Like, the hieroglyphics are known around the world. Their music has touched people in ways that you couldn't even fathom, that you can't quantify. You know, so when DJ Toray just calls you on Sunday morning, like, hey man, just like nigga, like it's a really big deal. So salute the Hieroglyphics crew. Well, we're gonna do something dope with them today, so we're just checking in with that. My bad, G. You were defining real accountability. That's where you were. Sorry.
Yeah, accountability, and and whatever's authentic to you. You know what I mean? And I think what is shifted into is what is acceptable from others.
Dear.
From the larger group than the smaller one, and then it allows you to then shit on and feel better
About yourself.
about yourself. You know what I mean? But I think that's and we kind of talked about it in the shit that posted. But the idea of
Salute the poll, man. That was a hell of a way to start. What day was that, G? Was that Friday morning?
Yeah, I think that was Friday morning. But the idea of working from the inside out,
yes,
as opposed to the outside in. I think that since things move so fast now, you don't have the opportunity to work on the inside, so therefore it protrudes out. You have to expedite the process, so therefore you're working with outside influences coming in, and then you reflecting what the outside influences are. So it's not authentic to yourself. It's you becoming a carbon copy of what society has now molded itself into. You know what I mean? So if nobody's going to stop it, or nobody's going to like give the okay for people to take a step back and dive into like what it is about yourself that you like and what you want to present to the people, then of course it's going to move at the pace that the majority can move it at. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like when you have. It's kind of like we talked about this shit too, but it's kind of like when you have like the BLM movements or any movement that you could think of that may have been started with a certain group in mind, but then it gets hijacked by someone else, and then they are now running it, but they're puppeteering it. Like they're not the face of it.
They're just shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're that's kind of like what it is with individuals. Yeah. Like if you're not controlling your own life, then you have other people doing it for you, and if you get an overwhelming majority that's doing that and making it look like it's cool, then all of a sudden you lose out on the authenticity of society. Yeah.
So in the spirit of not seeming too dense for such for such a shallow based dialogue, and granted it's only shallow because of how it's being monetized now. These are celebrities we're speaking about. But behind said shallowness is the density in which you're speaking of, authenticity and all these things that once convoluted I hate that I can't think of this word, but once convoluted and hijacked for lack of better terms.
Yeah, but celebrity has been extended though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Bet. Like it's not like the old school version of what a celebrity is, where you do Mystique specific
and all
fields.
That shit in this room.
It's not like that. It's now.
So it makes it fair game to speak about it in the sense in which we're speaking about it.
Exactly.
Okay. Bet. I'm rolling.
That's the reason why. It's just like the way the landscape is that you can become an overnight celebrity.
Got it.
So that's the reason why it's a little bit different, because if you can become an overnight one, and there are cases that can possibly happen.
Gotcha.
For a majority of things that you can do, like it doesn't have to be a talent base. It could just be enough eyes on you base.
Gotcha.
Then yes, that muddies the waters to me.
For the sake of the conversation right now, you cool with that explanation of real?
Yes.
Bet. So if we're starting there, right? Where I have the hardest time, G,
yes,
is the shit's funny. This whole thing has been comical. At the very same time, parallel to that is this burning part of me that's going, damn, people don't give a fuck about us so much that they've parlayed our trauma into us normalizing it on a level to where the joke precedes the optics of how sad this shit is.
Yeah.
Tory is out of this world talented. I stand by that. I'm not taking that back. That nigga's borderline genius in as far as talent goes. I'm gonna say the same thing for Meg. And I know people. I'm not here to do the back and forth about what y'all deem talented, what you like. Fuck what you like. My ear's not broke. Like I gotta roll with that now because niggas done said some wild shit to me in terms of what they like versus I'm gonna roll with my taste level. All right, let's go there. I think Meg is out of this world talented. But with that, trying to remove human error in the name of celebrity, leveraging likeness and all the shit. Oh man. Now it really gets tricky. And the first thing everybody makes fun of is some shit that just the average person would be insecure about. Short man's complex is a thing. All my short partners my short partners was the first niggas I seen with pistols in high school. Like the big niggas were not pressed to go get a gun. The little niggas though, yep, I'm going to get my first pistol. Like it was a no-brainer.
Pistol, crowbar,
something,
bat,
blade,
2x4.
But then like literally adjacent to that was the tall black girl that was trying to figure out her space in beauty as far as the world is concerned. Let's just stick with the progression of the conversation. I know that that's some shit that nobody wants to talk about, but these things happen. Mm-hmm. I asked a few of the taller black women who have stepped into their beauty now. But yo, can you go back to middle school? Like, when did you know you was bad? Because make no mistake, the chicks I was like, they're bad. I'm like, yo, but when did you know it though? Mm-hmm. And all of them are like, 21, 22. What? Yeah, but you gotta think of where I grew up at. I'm like, oh shit. All right. Bet. But at least now you now you know. But the baseline for beauty has shifted so much to the curvy, voluptuous, at the very least the structure, the makeup of the woman.
You can also develop later.
And you can also develop later too, but the chick that we know humor me for a minute though. Yeah. In high school, there was the chick that was damn near our height. It's like, damn, she bad. But she hella tall and she probably hoop. You know what I'm saying? And so she's still figuring out. But if knowing what we know, how much both genders are so attracted to fucking confidence, mm-hmm. and what that does. I'm getting off on a tangent, but I feel like this context matters for why I'm invested in these conversations the way that I personally am. So confidence, insecurities, all the shit that looms around fame. We joke, and people keep hitting me about why Tory's jump shot bothered me so much. And then thank God for the big homie Donald for going, oh no, that was a whole ass nigga. From the time I seen the jumper, I just knew what type of time that nigga was on. I was like, that's how my brain works too, nigga. If your jump shot looks like that, and you still playing, because I know some real niggas that know they shit, and it's like, I'm not playing no fucking basketball, man. I'll fight you though, but you'll never catch them niggas shooting basketball. And this nigga Tory, he's hooping and talking crazy to people. All right, this nigga's wild, man. Leave that nigga alone. Mm-hmm. But he's talented, nonetheless. Fast track the conversation. They're dating. This wild ass incident happens, and immediately, people start normalizing the despair that exists between black men and black women in the most insane way. We've talked about it several times, and trying to go back and do the math on how many women we've dealt with that have expressed to us how they've been abused, and the percentage is just high, right? So now you're going, damn, if every woman we know that's not a celebrity goes through this. Why on earth would I assume that that number shrinks because the said black woman made it to a level of fame? That can't be the case. Knowing what we know now about how celebrity works, these are just normal fucking people that went, like Elle said, became a celebrity practically overnight. Like it just, for whatever it is about their likeness, just clicked with the world. They caught a bag or they manipulated the numbers, whatever it is that got them to that moment. So just throwing that out the window seems silly to me. So still human, that and have all the shit that exists. Tory's still human and has all the trauma and shit that exists. Couple that with the drug of fame and celebrity. Couple that with actual drug consumption. We don't know what that is.
And couple that with being in an environment that you're not completely familiar with or comfortable in.
Man,
like them hanging out
with the fucking Kardashians,
with the Kardashian Jenner crew is not their usual crowd. Like, and there's a lot that goes in that too. Who the fuck knows what comments were made throughout that night that makes you just turn your nose up, and then gradually throughout the night makes you more and more like in a weird space? Because like people that you hang around with that are oblivious to what your traumas and issues are will say things in that moment, and you have zero clue that it's actually a triggering thing.
Does oblivion mean just not to know, or does oblivion mean not to know and just not to give a fuck too?
Well, yeah, if you operate in oblivion for long enough, then you'll end up in an area of not giving a fuck about shit.
Got it.
But it's also a matter of, you gotta understand, you have to be put in certain situations multiple times in order to learn something. That's the reason why I feel like black people as a whole have the opportunity to become the most holistic group. Like, and not just, but I mean like the African American, because of how much depth there is in its background. Yeah. So it has an opportunity to have the full picture when it comes to being a human being, if that person is able to, one, work on their trauma, and then two, start to love themselves, so then that can protrude out. Like it has an opportunity to be able to do that much for itself. Yeah. And then for all of humans in general. Yeah. But if you're operating from a space where you have received things from the beginning, your lifestyle has been completely different, the fame has always been there, then yes, I want to say things that I just deem to be correct, and you just got to take it. Yeah. It's up to you on how you receive what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's something I think could happen throughout that night as well. That's not something that's going to...
So the not to skip over the details, completely. The details of the night are so vague. They're holding it so close to the chest. Not for the sake of our discussion not being distracted. The night happens and assume the worst. Okay, so if we're assuming the worst, some really twisted dark shit took place, and the way that it was covered just reaffirmed that people don't give a fuck about us, to the point to where we've entered in on the jokes and no one moved to empathy. Like it just was immediately, it was like these are disposable characters, these are disposable bodies, don't matter what it is. So much so,
which should be a lesson, but it won't be.
It won't be, absolutely. So much so that one of the parties involved that is being accused can then months later release an entire album about the incident and completely neglect the seriousness of not just the victim or the person that's accusing him, but how in jeopardy his freedom is. Like that, I know we can't victim blame. I know we gotta check in on Meg and make sure she's okay. But I gotta be honest, y'all. The black man that was raised by a mom and a grandmother that went out of their fucking way to make sure that my black ass knew that these folks don't give a fuck about me, that concerns me about how this nigga's moving and who he's surrounded by. That they let him sit up there and make a 17-track album going making fun of this shit.
The one thing I didn't understand is he said he couldn't come out and say like anything, but for him to isn't making the album the same thing, or is it by law it's completely different?
This nigga Boosie just got done telling the world on Vlad that the reason that he was facing the death penalty is because they used his lyrics.
So
That's what the other dude did too. The one that was on that's on trial for double homicide.
YMN Melly?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
you can't forget X-rated.
X-rated, C Murder. The list goes on. And then here you come. Again, please forgive me. I hope that people can compartmentalize and roll with just having multiple discussions at once. That worried me, y'all, reading them lyrics. Oh, you don't even give a fuck about yourself. You gonna throw one more Hail Mary in the name of fame.
Hell of a drug.
Because streaming ain't getting no bread. Sorry, you can't tour this music right now. The world is shut down. So what's the incentive to release this album? Think about that. To monetize that music, Tory would have to do his appearances, his meet and greets, his shows, and really get it out the mud. Or you just gonna depend on your shit doing so many streams? Bro, stop it. You can't mathematically you can't convince me that this was a smart business move. So now you just talking about being able to leverage fame.
Yeah, I think he's going for the low hanging fruit streams, like Brad did with Entanglement.
Jesus. It was hard. It's hard. It's heartbreaking. Like I got all the jokes, but
Remember that Mark Maron interview when he interviewed Morris Garrett?
Yes, yeah.
And remember when Morris Garrett said, "Now I done smoked crack before, and fame is way more addictive."
Salute Mark Maron at WTF Podcast and the amount of legends like Morris Garrett, who was a legendary black actor. I would have never heard his story if not for that show.
Me either.
You know what I'm saying? And I do remember him saying that. He said, I have smoked crack before, and fame is way more addictive. Watching this Kanye shit unravel, watching people put their 2 cents in and convolute the conversation with being an artist, with being famous, fam, please stop that. If you're creative, if you're an aspiring director, actor, nigga, all you got to do is pick up a camera. All you got to do is figure out a way to make beats on your. A garage band comes on your phone for fuck's sake. So you don't need a lot to get the ball rolling. If you want to be a writer, sit your ass down and start writing. But don't confuse. Oh, I need however many followers to validate my expression or my art. It's not the same thing. And the way they keep shoving these contracts and the idea of leveraging said likeness in the faces of black women, children, men, boys, girls is disgusting. And only to have it backfire, have you out the window shooting your girlfriend in her foot and normalizing it, and everybody in every fucking publication running off and getting more coverage from it. It's disgusting. All you niggas should be disgusted with yourself. And when I say that, I'm talking about the publications. Hip Hop DX, you should be disgusted with your fucking self. What's our guy? TMZ, we already know you sick fucks. Shade Room, this is shit is crazy.